Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Is back talking about books, and today is a little bit different. If you can look at the lighting, if you see everything, it's a little bit different style of video. So this is my first real reading vlog. I just read the book Powerless. It's a very popular book talk book. I love to review book talk books. This is a book that I had really been wanting to read. It's Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This is just gonna be my thoughts as I was reading this book. If you like this style of video, let me know in the comments below. It is gonna be a little bit different than what I usually do, so it is a full vlog style while I'm reading it. So let me know if you like it. If you don't like this type of video, then I can just, do my regular schmegular reviews. But yes, please let me know. And let's just get into the reading vlog. Okay. The dogs are barking outside, but reading vlog time. I'm on chapter 8. I'm reading it on my Kindle, so I don't know exact page numbers, but it's chapter 8, chapter 9? Chapter 9. So in this scene, he just got beat up. He almost died, and Peyton came to save him because she doesn't have any powers. The person that was about to kill him is a silencer. There's a lot of magical things happening in this book, but long story short, he was about to die, and she came to save his life. She came to save his life by beating up the guy who was killing him, the silencer. And he says, "But even in my haze of pain, the glimpses I caught of her fighting were captivating." She was captivating. Yes, she was skilled, but what intrigued me most was how much emotion she channeled into each blow. The passion packed in each punch. Ooh, okay, consonants, okay, alliteration. Not him being so horned up by her violence. Because she's so violent. I love that in a man. I love that in a dark type. Because I don't think this is a dark romance, but a dark type of romance. He's like, ooh, she's crazy. And I love that about her. And I love that about him, that he loves that about her. Kai is the main guy in the story, and he is a murderer himself. And he is the king's son, but also his whipping boy, if that makes sense. He just does whatever the king wants him to do, whatever his father wants him to do. So of course he is this like dark, brooding man. And of course he would love a girl who's a little psychotic. This is very Hunger Games coded, having trials, basically being on death row. You're gonna die if you go into these trials. A girl in the slums going into these trials, probably not going to make it out. I'm pretty sure this Jax character, he is Kai. The Kai is the main guy. He's the prince that I was talking about. He's his younger brother, and he's also in the trials. I feel like Jax is gonna be a Rue type of character, a little brother that you love, and then he's gonna end up dying. How much you wanna bet that Jax is gonna die? Peyton being just an ordinary girl thrust into this crazy world. And then it's even more Hunger Games because it says the contestants always head to the palace 2 weeks in advance for the training, interviews, and of course the first ball. There is a show before the trials, interviews. You are basically a celebrity, and that is what they did in the Hunger Games. Like, tell me this is not very Hunger Games coded. Okay, I don't know what I was expecting from this book. I really don't. But I was not expecting the dark romance vibes that I'm getting from it. Is it written the best way? No. It's kind of very YA, very easy to read, very Wattpad, not gonna lie. But the story's kind of eating right now, even though it's very cliche. There's a scene of tension. It says, in one swift movement, she grabs my wrist from under her chin and twists it outwards with a jerk, sending a shooting pain up my arm. Then she grips my shirt, shoves me against the wall. Her free hand finds a dagger strapped to my hip and slips it out, settling the sharp blade against my throat. I'm like, ooh, tension. I love tension, and I love a knife to the throat scene. And I love when the girl is so violent and he eats that shit up. Vicious little thing, isn't she? Like, she got hit by one of his guards, and later on he asked those guards about her, and he says this: the man's disdain for Peyton was more than obvious as he recapped what she sensed from him, and yet he failed to mention how he'd hit her. Perhaps I'll relieve him of one of his hands, so he never has the opportunity to lay it on a woman again. Get you a man who will literally cut off a guy's hand for hitting you. It's a very dark romance. I love the tension. I love the tension. I slide out the dagger slowly, my fingers briefly brushing past her lower back. They're holding daggers to each other's throats. This is so unrealistic. Mark my words, Prince, I will be your undoing. I lean in, ignoring the knife against my throat as I murmur, oh darling, I look forward to it. This is what I think of this book so far. Here's what we know. Firstly, tell me why I didn't know the main character's name was Peyton till chapter 8, because I could not for the life of me read this font. I can't read that. You think you, like, that looks like a D to me, and I was reading that like D-A-E-D-N-N? D-A-E-D-N-N. And I was like, I'm not even gonna try. That's what I told myself. So I didn't know her name because they never said it for the first 8 chapters of the book. And then she introduces herself to the main guy, the prince, Kai. And then she says, Peyton, my name's Peyton. And I'm like, oh, it's a P? It's a P? There's not a P. But yeah, apparently her name's Peyton, not Dayden. That's one thing I'll say is I did not know her name until 8 chapters into this book. I like her as a character. We know that she's clever, and I like that so far in this book, they're doing a lot of show and not telling us. Like, they were actually showing us her attributes of her being clever, of her being able to, you know, live on the streets, how she pickpockets, how she steals, her cleverness with that, her slyness, her slickness, the way that she can hide amongst the people, saying that she has this psychic ability, and her actually observing things about said people, like the guard, the ring, how he saw that there was no ring on his finger, and how she can make these deductions, and how she's done that for most of her life, how she's made these observations about Prince Kai. I like that they actually showed us these scenes of her actually implementing her personality, who she is, her cleverness. I really like that, and I like that you can see how it's kept her alive for so long. I can also see how this is a lot of setup for how she's gonna survive in the games, just like Katniss in the Hunger Games was able to survive in the games because she had to hunt for her family, and she had that backstory of doing things based off of survival, but now you actually have to survive in a whole different survival setting. We also follow Prince Kai. This is up to chapter 13. He's the younger son to the king. King has 2 sons, the heir and the spare. He's the spare. That sounds so f***ed up. His brother is gonna be the king. He is set up to be an enforcer, and he's been training his entire life to be an enforcer, aka the king's right-hand man, the person who kills everybody that the king wants killed, tortures everybody that the king wants tortures, and is basically the leader of the army. This is what I'm getting. I'm not 100% sure of how the political systems work in this world. That's his goal. That's what Prince Kai has been going after for his entire life. That's what we know about him. He's a killer, and he's brutal, and he's ruthless. And he loves a fiery girl, and the main girl in this, even though she doesn't have powers, is a super fiery, strong person, right? She has that spark, she has that fire in her. And I love that, and I love that we can see that as readers. About the world building, I'm still a little confused on it. I am only 12 chapters in, but from what I know so far is that there was this plague that happened, and because of that, everybody in this world has powers because it's the side effect of the plague, kind of like an immunity thing. So once they got the plague and they healed from it instead of dying from it, if you survive it, then you're bound to get powers. And the people who survive it and don't get powers, they're called ordinaries. The main girl isn't ordinary. She got the plague, I'm pretty sure, and she does not have any powers. Everybody in this kingdom wants ordinaries dead. King wants ordinaries dead because he sees them as a weakness. It still doesn't really make sense to me, because does that mean that every single person in this universe has had the plague? Because what happened if you just never got sick? does that mean that you're an ordinary, but you never got sick? Of course you would never get powers because you never got sick from the plague. Or is it something that is now just like over time was passed down? I don't know. That part just doesn't make sense to me. Like, does that mean every single person in this universe got the plague? Long story short, if you were an ordinary, like the main character is, you will get banished from the kingdom or killed. I like this about them showing the character of Kai too. We see how brutal he is and how horrible he is because he is sent by the king pretty immediately in the beginning of the book to go kill an 8-year-old little girl because she is an ordinary. And he does this, but he still has a moral code and actually doesn't follow this rule that the king made him do and breaks the rules by still having the ordinary child that he was supposed to kill and their family basically die, but instead of dying, he just banishes them. But banishing them means that they're going to go into, think Furiosa, think Mad Max, like they're going to go out of the kingdom into the sands. And going into the sands means that if you are able to cross the sands, because now you are exiled, you can go to the next city over, but it's basically impossible. So this family and this child is most likely going to get killed in those sands. And his whole thing is that like, oh, he was supposed to kill her right then and there, but at least now they can die as a family. Is he kind of a fucked up person? Yes, but he has this moral skewed code that he follows, which I think is interesting. He's actually a morally gray character because you know that he feels this internal guilt for doing these things, having to kill all of these people who were just born being powerless. And you know he's gonna fall in love with the main girl who is powerless herself, right? She doesn't have any powers, but he's grown up his entire life surrounded by his father, the king, who has told him his whole life that people without powers are horrible and suck and should be killed off. Like, of course he's gonna think that. So I'm interested to see. The beginning of this book is very promising because I feel like they're setting up the step to make it a really good plot where we see how maybe Prince Kai gets out of his mindset of thinking that powerless people are deserved to live. And then we also get to see all this action from this Hunger Games-esque plot. And this is 20% of the way through the book. Okay, I just got to the part where it is the ball. Yeah, the first ball. Everyone is wearing green at this ball, but Peyton is like, I want to be different. I'm so different. All the other contestants, they're wearing light green, forest green, dark green, shades of green. That's usually what women wear at this ball. Mind you, Peyton's hair is also silver. It says, Peyton's kohl-lined lashes sweep over me as I take her in. Her hair is like a curtain covering her dress, making it difficult to tell where the silver strands end and the shiny dress begins. Not to be a fashionista, not to be that big, but I find this to be kind of ugly. Her hair is naturally silver. This is a thing in the book. A lot of people have different crazy colored hair. And she's wearing a silver dress and her hair and the dress is the same color. I feel like it would wash her out. I don't know if that's just me. You know how redheads look so good in emerald green? But if you had someone who was a redhead wear more red, I just feel like it wouldn't look as good. There's just so much silver going on in my head when they're explaining this dress. It's just like too much silver for me. And she's like, I'm not like most girls. I wanted to stand out. I wanted to wear silver. To me, the dress is giving Fashion Nova. It's giving prom dress in 2008. It explains it later, and I understand that the reason why she chose silver is because she's the silver savior, right? She wants people to remember her, and this ball is to get people to notice her. She wants to get people's votes, like in the Hunger Games with the sponsors. But I just don't like the color. I don't know. It felt tacky to me. I understood why she did it. I just didn't like the color. And that's so stupid of me to think. I've probably already said this, but I honestly really like that this is like a true enemies to lovers. And you can really tell these characters innately are, for the most part. Even Kit, who's the brother. We have Kai, who's the main character. And then we have Kit, who's the brother. Kit, he's gonna be the king. Kai is going to be his enforcer. And we even get a lot of his character. It says, I see it then, the green of his eyes that matched the jealousy, the envy. I can see the part of him that wishes he could run into battle and save the day like his brother. Wishes he could earn his father's favor through brawn and not brains. Wishes he could be the hero rather than the one the hero is protecting. And yet I feel no pity for the boy before me. To envy Kai is to envy a murderer. Play the part, play him. So this whole story, it's just her trying to survive, be cunning. She doesn't necessarily like Kai or Kit, even though there is that sort of tension between Kai and Peyton, but I really like that it's super enemies to lovers. Obviously you hate the king and his sons because the king killed your daddy. Like, duh. We're 36% of the way through this book, and we already had the setup to a rebellion, to probably an all-out war, and bam, we already got the first plot point that would happen later on, where this ball happens and all of these people who are ordinaries, who are supposed to be killed off or banished, that we saw in the very beginning of the book, come and destroy and wreak havoc on this ball, and there's like a whole battle going on. I think at this point in the book, Peyton doesn't realize that there's a lot more ordinaries that are actually alive and are out there than she thought, so she wants to like go see them. But she's also surrounded basically by the enemy. The enemy being Kai, being all the people who have powers who hate ordinaries, and she's technically an ordinary. I like it, but I don't love this book yet. There's something about it. I think it's the writing. It's very mundane writing. Can't really get fully into it, but I'm enjoying myself so far. The more I read this, the more I feel it is an allegory for racism. Maybe I'm reading too much into things, but it's giving allegory for racism. It's giving apartheid state, just saying, because why are they killing ordinaries, casting out ordinaries, saying that they are lesser people because of their genetics and their blood, saying if they're allowed to live, then the elite race will slowly die. Who knows how many elites have already been infected by the ordinaries hiding among them. I'm sure people have already begun to feel the effects, the weakening of their powers. I don't get the power system either yet, so I don't know how being an ordinary correlates with losing your powers, but whatever. The ordinary's sacrifice is necessary for the greater good of the kingdom. Or maybe not the whole story, because I don't know what the whole story is yet, but it feels symbolic. It parallels how racism is. Sorry for the ambiance, but you guys, this is how I actually read at night, okay? I have my potato lamp, okay? This is how I read before I go to bed. I don't know, there's just something about this couple. I'm not super into it, but I am only 40% of the way through. It says she's bewildering as much as she is beguiling. That pretty mouth of hers says one thing, but those ocean eyes say another. She pulls a knife from my back only to say she'll bury another one there. She's confusing, captivating, and we're completely wrong for each other in all the right ways. Boy, who even says she liked you like that? She's a flame, and I'm going to get burned. An ocean, and I'm going to get drowned. It's so Wattpad coded. And you know what? Knowing me, I love Wattpad writing. I don't care. But there's just something about this, because the basis of the relationship just doesn't feel like it's all the way there yet. The scenes of tension and the banter, it just really wasn't giving for me. I feel like this flowery Wattpad writing is not doing it for me this time. I love writing like this. I know people think it's so cliche and so repetitive, and that is the essence of a fanfic Wattpad writer, and I love it. I eat it up every single time. That's how Sarah J Maas writes. I think it only works though if you really truly care for the couple, but for some reason I felt more tension when Peyton was talking to Kit, the older brother. His green eyes, who she hates to look at because it's exactly his father's eyes, the father that killed her dad, how she saw his evil eyes that he got from her father's murderer, and slowly after talking to him, they turned nice and they turned beautiful. That part I felt like was more tension and chemistry between her and the brother than with Kai and Peyton. Because yeah, they banter and they talk to each other, and he's like, why are you looking at me? I love it when you stare at me. Like, keep staring at me all the time. And there's just something about her that he is so intrigued by, and it's been like that since day one. But I really feel like there wasn't a big enough basis for this. The story is just not progressing all the way. Maybe I'm not as invested as I should be. I do have to keep giving it a chance. I just felt like that flowery writing right now, it came off as cringy, even though I would usually like it, because I felt like there wasn't really a basis for the relationship. I'm gonna keep reading. Oh my god, look, I'm literally keeping reading. I've never been so affected by a single girl, and it's absurd, absolutely annoying. But then I grin, remembering her heartbeat hammering beneath my fingers, her breath catching every time I touch her, her eyes drinking in every smile and dimple she supposedly hates. You cocky bastard. You know you're hot. The feeling of absolute annoyance for being so affected by someone is most definitely mutual, though I'm sure she'll deny it with a dagger to my throat. I'll give this book that. The dagger to the throat scenes, they eat up. I like it. I just need more, I think. I'm not super invested in the story. I think I figured out what was wrong in this book for me, why I'm not super into it like I am other books. I think it's because we get his POV. Because we have his POV, the romance feels way too obvious and not enough subtlety is there. I probably, if I make my Allie Hazelwood book review on her latest release, because I just finished it, Not in Love, I have the same feeling for that book. Because we got Kai's POV, he's saying all these things, there's no subtext there, it's just told to us, and he says it here. This is what really solidified this feeling for me. All I know is I have this urge to protect her, be with her, tease her, touch her. I don't know what it is. Like, I feel like especially in a lot of fantasy books, we get it from the female perspective and it stays in the female perspective. Because of that, we can read between the lines, we can get all the subtext of what the guy is probably thinking. We get the longing there. And this entire time he's like, oh, what am I thinking? What the hell is wrong with me? Why do I like her? He's just told to us what he's feeling. And it's not fun to read that. It's not fun to read his POV. It's fun to see it in her POV and see him clench his jaw and his eyes staring at her from far away across the room. See the worry in his face when she's dying on the floor and she finally says his name and he freezes. I think I need that. So on the note, he's literally saying like, I want to be with her. I was like, whoa dude, relax. You've known her for like 2 weeks. Relax. Okay, I like the book. It's just, I'm not super invested in it. I'm trying to figure out why. The banter's cute, but it's not kicking my feet in the air screaming. It's just cute. When you ask him what his favorite color is, and he says blue because your eyes are blue, it's giving the hating game. Mister, I painted my whole room blue because it was the color of her eyes. That gags me to this day.
I'm sorry I can't tell you page numbers because I don't have the page numbers on my Kindle, I just have percentages. 61% into the book. Archery has never been my favorite and clearly Peyton doesn't feel the same. She's a natural. So confident, so controlled, as if the bow is nearly an extension of her arm. The arrow obeys her as she wills it to land exactly where she wants. Okay, Katniss Everdeen. Hunger Games happened 10-15 years ago, but close enough. Welcome back, Hunger Games. Very Hunger Games-esque. From the last time I talked about this book, I like that we get more backstory on Kai, how much he loves his brother, how much of a burden he feels and like a weight on his shoulders. I love that we get what he's going through. I still love that we get that character development, the torture that his dad put him through, that he probably hates his dad too, as much as she probably hates his dad, how he has to mask all his feelings and his emotions because of this duty of helping out his brother, of making sure his dad is proud of him and having this sort of weight on his shoulders for that. I really actually love that Peyton and Kai can bond over low-key the hatred of the king. I really like that, but I will be 100% completely honest. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know what people are seeing, but I don't see the chemistry between Kai and Peyton. I see the chemistry between Kit and Peyton. I just like the scenes with Kit and Peyton more. I don't know why. I feel like Kai and Peyton have this forced chemistry. It's all of this tension, and ooh, he's dark and brooding and he kills all these people and he has this like sad backstory, and for some reason it feels forced. On top of that, Kit is the true enemy to Peyton. And I love an enemies to lovers. He's the actual enemy because he is the one that's going to be king. I just feel like their chemistry is stronger because the actual dynamic between them just makes much more sense. She says what's on her mind. She tells him like it is. Kit likes what she thinks about politics. As a person, Kit, the next king, he is surrounded by yes men, surrounded by people who will just tell him what he wants, and Peyton will not do that, and she will give him suggestions and say what's on her mind. For example, this fountain and having all these coins in this fountain is such an extreme hoard of wealth and so stupid. This could have fed most of the people who are living in poverty. And he's like, okay, we're gonna take out all the coins on the fountain and distribute it. And I was like, oh, it was that easy. It was literally that easy. And he just does whatever she suggests. And I'm like, that's so cute. Like, that's way cuter than literally just bantering back and forth. And it's forced banter for some reason. All Kai and Peyton do is just talk shit to each other, which I love. I love when people talk, but I feel like there's nothing beyond that. He's like, oh my God, she's so pretty. Her eyes are like the ocean. And she's like, oh my God, his eyes are so pretty. They're the night sky or something like that. Other than that, and her being, oh, I'm gonna kill you or I'm gonna beat you up, there's nothing there on the chemistry, emotional level. They're literally just dancing with each other. And he's like, I can teach her to dance. And then that's it. But like, brother, I don't know why. I feel it more. And I know everyone on TikTok just loves Kai. I like the Kit and Peyton dynamic better. Yeah, but I do like Kai as a character. I actually really do. I like that we can see how he loves his brother so much that he will take on the burden of being the torturer, of being the villain, of being the bad guy, so that his brother doesn't have to go through it. Because I think he asked on one part of the book, oh, if you could switch places with Kit, would you? And he said, no, because I don't want him to go through the things that I'm going through. I was like, oh, that ain't down. Like, he's selfless. You know what I mean? Okay, okay. Listen to this. Peyton happened to me. Kit chuckles, but the sound is strained. She certainly is something. You have such a way with words, Kitty. He shakes his head and runs a hand over his face. I don't even have words to describe her, but plagues does she never fail to have words for me. My shoulders stiffen, but I force myself to sound relaxed. Does she? This isn't Kai's POV, by the way. He huffs a laugh. Kit. Yes, she is the only person who doesn't tell me what I want to hear, isn't afraid to speak her mind, and quite often, I might add. Would you like me to call you out on your more often, brother? I ask casually. Is that what I'm hearing? He gives me a lazy shove, ignoring my comment. She's got this sort of fire. Even called me an ass the other day. Lips twitch despite the tension coursing through me. Sounds about right. It's strange. I haven't known her for long, and yet I find myself wanting to know her for longer. Is this a love triangle? Am I supposed to be leaning this way? Why am I rooting a little bit more for the brother than I am for Kai? Because with Kai, I feel not as much chemistry, a little bit of tension. But with Kit, I'm like, oh my God, okay, characterization. Okay, oh, she's the only person in the world who speaks her mind to you because you're about to be the king. Am I supposed to be feeling this way? Are they leading me the wrong way? Am I supposed to be rooting for Kit and then he's gonna be an asshole in like 100 pages from now? And then we're gonna hate Kit, just like how we did Tampon and Aquatar. Is this a Tamlin situation? Is Kit gonna be a Tamlin? Because why do I root for Kit more than Kai? Is this a love triangle? Is it two brothers vying for the same girl? Because right now, I'm kind of sort of team Kit. I have a feeling, foreshadowing, okay? That at the end of this book, it's gonna come out that she's an ordinary, and Kai is gonna be way more open-minded about it than Kit, and Kit is gonna be like, she's an ordinary, kill her, she's an ordinary, she horrible. I feel like that's gonna happen, and then that's why we're gonna root for Kai more
the darker, more brooding brother. But right now I love Kit. Sorry, I love the blonde boy. What can I say? Is he blonde? I picture him as blonde. Until the shoe drops at the climax, when she finally reveals that she isn't ordinary, when it comes out, it has to come out. It has to. I have a feeling Kit is gonna be like, you betrayed me. You are horrible, nasty, dirty about Peyton. Kai's gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe I like an ordinary. And then he's gonna fall in love with her. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. Let's read a passage, okay? So this is the second ball they have. I guess we're doing the Bridgerton thing where they just have a ball every other day. They already did their second event, which to me was kind of boring. They go up a hill and then they fight to the death again, and then they capture the flag. And whoever captures the flag wins, and she got it. That's what's happened so far. They're at their second ball. We're doing the Bridgerton thing. But they have this very intimate moment, and I actually really liked this moment between Kai and Peyton, where he's having a nightmare and he goes into his room. He's like, stay, stay. And she stays and they fall asleep together. I hate to compare books to each other, but it really has been there, done that. I have read that before. It's okay to have repeats of the same tropes and the same things going on in the book. I just need there to be more to it. I need it to feel like a spark, like it's special. This time, it was okay. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't the most cringy, cheesy thing I've ever read, but there was also nothing special about this moment. So now we are at this ball, and she walks into the room, jaws on the floor. She looks stunning. She is wearing a dress that looks like starfall, draped in midnight fabric. The faint sparkles dusting her dress wink like starlight. In this passage, this is about Peyton wearing Kai's POV. She's scared of whatever it is between us. She always has been. That's why she chose to be my enemy, my rival, rather than let herself feel, which is something I'm not accustomed to myself. I blame her for it. Blame her for cracking my carefully crafted mask, shattering it to pieces when she's around. I've never felt so much, never feared so much. But if I must endure the consequences that feeling something for her brings, then so does she. It's like a tangible tether between us, this consuming connection. I will her to meet my eyes, and when they do, sparks, electricity. You know what? Cute. I think it's cute. I think I need a little more subtlety. He literally says in his POV, I crafted this mask and she's shattering my mask to pieces and she's making me feel so much. Throughout the entire book, it says that he tries to hide his feeling, which I saw that, right? I saw that happening in the book. The parts are there, but I feel like I needed him to be a little more self-deprecating. Maybe I'm just toxic. Maybe I just like my men in books to be self-deprecating, to kind of hate themselves a little bit, because his whole personality in this book is hating himself. He hates himself. He's a killer. He sacrificed his life for his brother. He would never want to trade positions with his brother. He kills for the king. He has his life written out for him. He's told that he is not worthy, that he's not worthy of love. He's not self-deprecating enough in this book. I don't know. I just don't think his character's strong enough to really feel all of the things that he's feeling. And I think it might be an issue that I've read a lot of YA fantasy books now. I think that actually might be an issue. I feel like I should be liking this a lot more than I actually am. Right now, they're just telling us whatever they're feeling without it being read between the lines. Even though they have all of this banter and all of this tension, I'm not feeling the tension between the characters. It is a love triangle a little bit. It says her eyes drift to Kit, which is his brother, and the connection snaps. I'm left feeling empty inside. Empty besides the jealousy growing inside of me. Why did I ever think I could have her, ever think she would have me? Because beasts don't get the beauty. I'm like, okay, drama queen, I get that, but also it's like, he was not self-deprecating enough to say this and be like, I'm a beast, I'm not worthy. But the entire time being so witty and bantering with her and is like, you think I'm handsome? I think I needed more scenes of him, like the beginning of the book. The beginning of the book, I loved it, where he is going to that house, he's there to kill that little girl, and you saw him with the mask on, and he is this evil, vile person, and that is all you see. But in reality, we know as a reader, he doesn't actually want this, he doesn't actually like this. Like, there's subtlety there. You could see the self-deprecation in him in the beginning of the book. Once the banter hit, he became another person to me. He started becoming this cocky version of himself, and I understand that that's probably part of his character too. It's him putting on this mask. I just feel like he was two separate people instead of seeing one side very much be that mask and then him actually legitimately hating himself. And then I think that's why I felt like the banter in the book wasn't real enough, because as a whole it didn't make sense. Specifically saying in his POV, the beasts don't get the beauty. But I think I'm the only person who's read this and felt this way. So please tell me if you feel this way too. Okay. What terrifies me even more is that I think I might be looking at him in the same way. Looking at him with the same longing, try as I might fight it, I can't help but long for the boy who saved my life, more times than I care to admit. This boy who is equally calculating and charming, equally cool and caring. The one who tended to my wounds, learned about my past, been my distraction when I needed it most. So those are the things that happen in the book. Maybe this book is just so forgettable because I don't remember. I know that that happened in the book, but I just don't remember it being a memorable scene. The scenes were just not that memorable. And to her runes, okay, when she was about to die to her, but like nothing about the scene was like, oh my god, they're soulmates. I don't know. Learned about her past, okay, purr. But so did Kit. So did Kit, literally went to loot with her as well, okay? Been my distraction when I needed it the most. The one who understands me. No, I don't know. I don't get it. I really don't. Oh my god, you guys. Okay. I can't. There's so much cheese. Malachi. His eyes flutter shut, his head falls back, allowing the rain to access to his face. The smile on his lips and the column of his neck makes me swallow. His head is still tipped towards the sky, speaking to it as he says, only you can say my name. Only you can make my name sound worth saying. What would you like me to call you? Kai? Malachi? Call me anything you like. I'll never pass up the chance to hear your voice, darling. All right then, cocky bastard it is. As adorable as you look looking up at me in the rain, I want you to see me clearly when I tell you this. I meant what I said. I can't take my eyes you. I can't take my mind off you. Peyton. I shiver. He says my name like it's sacred. Like it's an oath he's swearing. Okay, Taylor Swift! Tell me, what do you want me to call you? My eyes slowly meet his, confused by his question. What do you want to call me? I want to call you mine. Please! That's so cheesy. I know you feel it too. Oh my god. Okay, actually this is hilarious actually. This is really funny because she lies to him because he doesn't know that she's an ordinary, and she's lying to him because she doesn't want to get close to him. She lies and says, I don't feel the same way, Kai. Lies, lies, liar. It literally says, lies, lies, liar. He goes, now answer again, but without tapping your left foot this time. Because he knows whenever she lies. He knows all of her tells. She's not a good liar. So she really tried to hide the fact that she feels the same way. That's actually so funny. Maybe the characters aren't that strong. Maybe the dialogue is cheesy as hell. I want to call you mine. Okay, cheesy. That got me. That's funny as hell. I love that. I don't... God, you're stunning. But so damn stubborn. His lips meet mine, barely. It's the whisper of a kiss, a promise of passion, and yet I nearly melt at the contact. I love this scene. Yeah, I might have qualms about the book, but this is because it's a reading vlog, okay? I'm talking about every single little detail as I am reading and all of my thoughts as I am reading. I love the drama. I love a scene like this, okay? Even though we are 80% into this book and I feel like Kai as a character is not as strong as he could be. Peyton, I can see more of her character than with Kai. Kai, I'm like, he needs to be more self-deprecating, but oh my god, I cannot wait. I cannot wait until he finds out that she is an ordinary, that she has no powers. It says she is so beautiful. I can hardly believe it. Hardly breathe. Her soul is stunning. Her very being is bright and bold and so unbelievably better than I am. Okay. Me when? Who will say that about me? Me when? She is good beyond my grasp. One that I am not worthy of glimpsing, let alone grabbing hold of. And yet here she is despite that choosing me. It's a privilege to look into those eyes, to drown in the essence that is her. Me when? That was cute. I liked that, okay? I liked that. We're 80% into the book now, okay? Say what you want about the middle. Oh my god, my voice. Say what you want about the middle of this book. The ending is eating. The ending is eating. The middle, not gonna lie, boring. Chemistry, didn't really see it. The end is good. I love every single bit of the end. Oh my god. Okay, so Kai, I should have seen it coming, but I love that I didn't. And I love the little twist of turns. I love the drama. If there's something that I love, it's I love the drama. And the drama is piping hot. Whole life, Peyton thinks the king killed her dad. In reality, Kai was the one to put the blade in his chest. It was Kai who took the blade and put it into her father's chest. So what does Peyton do at the end of this book? Puts the blade into Kai's father's chest. They both literally killed each other's daddies. And now they are literal enemies now. And I told you I was waiting for the shoe to drop. I was waiting for Kai to find out who she was. And you know what? Even though I didn't really feel their chemistry that much throughout this whole book, and I didn't feel his tie to her so innately, I still ate it up, okay? I still ate up this ending. How she was in the tunnels or whatever the hell they were. He goes, I should kill you. And she goes, then do it. And he said, why can't I do it? And he says, go, just go. Never come back. If I ever find you again, I will come for you and I will kill you. Bitch, we know in book 2 he's not gonna come kill her. We know he's not gonna come kill her. I love it. This is turning into real enemies to lovers, okay? Because they literally killed each other's daddies. How are you gonna get over that? How are you gonna get over that? I love the drama. I love the drama. Okay, let's keep reading. Okay, I'm at the epilogue already. I serve Honorable Vows. I don't give a damn. Not both of them being hypocrites. Oh, I hate her because she killed my dad. You killed her dad too. Don't act like you didn't kill her dad. And he probably doesn't even remember it. I love it. I do think, okay, now that we're at the end of the book, let me get into my final thoughts. Sorry this whole video, I didn't have good lighting. This is a vlog, okay? I always read before I go to sleep. I didn't like that the king felt like a very mustache twirling villain. The actual world building didn't really make sense to me a little bit because he sets up this whole society because he wants a very, very strong elite society where there is a bunch of strong elite people. So that's why he's killing ordinaries. In my head, it feels kind of dumb to me because I'm like, you can have a strong military. You don't have to go killing your citizens. Economically wise, it just makes no sense. And I feel like the economy, not to be that bitch, okay, but I feel like the economy in this kingdom is probably horrible. Because why is everybody living in poverty? Everyone is not living a good life. What do you mean you're trying to create an elite society where everyone's strong? He said in his little ramblings to Peyton that he's the most powerful king in the land. I disagree. I disagree because how is their economy running if they're technically powerful, but as a kingdom, I just don't understand how they're a strong kingdom because they're killing their citizens who don't have powers. Why didn't the king just recruit a bunch of people and have all of this money, right? Money's power, whatever, and create a strong military with these elites, having all these people with powers, and then the powerless
can still live their, like, I really didn't understand why he had to legitimately kill people who did not have powers. To me, it did not make sense. If you guys can explain it to me in the comments, please explain it to me, because I don't get it. The economy doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. I love the reveals. I love the plot twist. I love the twists and turns. Do think that having ordinaries is an analogy for racism. People seeing you as the other and having this sort of caste system. So I do love that. I ate up the ending, okay? This book, it wasn't that good, but the ending, I loved it, okay? Oh, okay, oh, the drama is so good. The drama is piping hot. I'm at the epilogue, and now we're finally at Kit's POV. I'm eating this shit up, because remember how I said I really liked her tension with Kit more than with Kai? I know that Kai is supposed to be the main, but I loved her tension with Kit, and his betrayal was worse than with Kai. Peyton killed Kit's daddy too. She also took the information that you trusted her with and betrayed you. His betrayal's worse, so I feel more for Kit, so I'm glad we're getting his POV. It says, 3 days since the resistant attack, the final trial. 3 days since the girl I trusted, the girl I grew to want, became a murderer and a betrayer. 3 days since I became the king! I forget that king is dead. Daddy is dead. We now have the real king up in here, okay? I wasn't planning on reading the second book, but now that I got to the end of this one, I wasn't fully enjoying myself throughout. Like, I had to take pauses while reading it. I wasn't like, oh my god, what's happening next? But the end, I want to see where it goes, because I love all the things they set up here. Sorry, I'm so hyperactive at 3 in the morning. I have a lot of energy right now, okay? Don't ask me why, but the crown atop my head is heavy, much like my eyelids have grown, and much like the weight of the kingdom now thrown onto my shoulders. We're getting the full rage. I love Kit as a character. I love getting Kit as a villain. I am eating this shit up, okay? My character development, reader, loving characters, I like Kit. I like Kit the most, okay? I'm not like Kai. I'm not cool and collected. My emotions are on full display. My heart is on my sleeve. I'm Kit, the brother who's supposed to be kind and charming, said to be the kindest king Ilya has ever seen. Wrong. I feel anything but kind. I feel everything but kind. I feel rage and grief, inadequate and hollow, despair. Oh my god, and you get it too. You got the entire backstory of why he feels that way. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Grief is a bitch, he said. I've been walking through my whole life waiting to follow in his footsteps, my dad's footsteps, aka the king's footsteps. And here I am, suddenly trying to fill his shoes. And I will do what needs to be done so that in death he will be proud. Love the motivations for this. I don't understand the old king, but I get Kit. My favorite villain so far. My favorite villain in a book this year. Even though he hasn't even done anything villainous yet, but I'm loving the backstory, okay? I'm loving this villain backstory. I want you to find her, and I want you to bring her to me. I finished the book. Book 2 is giving cat and mouse plotline. Kai and Kit are gonna go after her and try to capture her, kill her, and they won't be able to do it. And then Kai is going to fall for Peyton even more. And then Kai is going to join the resistance, and then we're gonna get more info on the resistance. This is what I'm hoping for in book 2. And Kit, the king, he will turn more evil. He will follow in his father's footsteps. He will go down that rabbit hole and down that path. And I am so excited to see it. Oh my god. And here's my final thoughts. I give this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Not the best, honestly. I think people were really hyping it up. I do find that there are a lot of plot holes, and to be honest, all of the middle portion, them doing the different trials, every single trial, I wanted to skim through it. I could care less. Boom, they get poofed into an arena and then try to get each other's badges and then go to the finish line. Poof, they get poofed onto a mountain. They climb up and then they get to the finish line. Poof, they're in another arena and then they're in a maze and it wasn't that interesting for me,
to read that. The chemistry between certain leads also wasn't that interesting to me, even though they're supposed to be the foundation, the basis. And I felt a lot of the dialogue was a little bit more cheesy than my liking. I am all for cheese, okay? I'm a Allie Hazelwood stan, okay? We love cheese. If you like her, it's cheese. It's cheesy. But I think it just didn't roll off the tongue in this book. Some of the lines in here that were cheesy felt forced. What have you done to me, Peyton? That, so random. To me, did not roll off of his tongue. What are you doing to me, Peyton? I don't know. I just felt like it didn't really roll off. But yeah, 3.5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely devoured the ending, and I think that it has really good setup for book 2. But I didn't think as a whole this book was all that great. I think the world building was not that great. The writing was okay, but I had fun while reading it towards the end. So that's why I think it's a little higher star than I would usually do. Please, if you have read this book, let me know your thoughts down below. I would love to hear it. If you liked this style of video, let me know and I will try to do more reading vlogs. Usually I just write whatever I'm thinking on my notes app and then have one cohesive review. So if you do like this, it is a lot more low lighting, a lot more just literally me in my bed looking nasty and crusty as hell, just reading. Yeah, I really want to show you guys my live reactions to when I read books, because I get really into it sometimes because I'm in it, you know? So let me know if you want me to do more reading vlogs and you like this style of video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.